Hey, good morning. Richard Borston here with Gravel Driveway Recovery. This is an interesting one that we got because my daughter rides horses here, and you start talking to people and you drive down there and you realize, hey, your driveway could use some help. Would you like me to give you a quote on that? And so they were nice enough to give me a shot at doing that, and they liked the numbers that they got and the solutions that we were offering. So we got to do the job, and that was kind of fun because every week now we get to see the benefits of it. You can see the ruts going down through here. You can see this large pile of dirt on the left. That's going to change. There's also a riprap over on the right that needs to get cleaned out. You can see all this rutting that's happening from the runoff. We're going to get all this taken care of in here. It's a pretty big project, one that took us several days to get done. And then the owners wanted us to do their driveway around the house as well. But they were really having problems around the backside here that you can see down this way, where you can see ruts and all kinds of hot mess that was happening. So we took on to fix all that. We actually pulled all the rocks out of this ditch in here and reorganized them. And you can see that's what we're doing here. So that's actually what we're starting out with, is getting all these riprap that was buried just over the years, deepening this so that we can have it flow a little better. The fun part about this project is we got to pick all those rocks out of the dirt. And let me tell you something, boy, I wish I had a screen or a bucket, but I didn't. And so we just did some manual labor. But this had all kinds of sediment over the years. It's a very low flow area, and so we wanted to deepen it as much as we could and give it a chance to hold as much water as possible, because it sometimes would spill over into this concrete you see here. And then also be able to get all these rocks out, get it cleaned up so that the water can flow a little better, get a better pitch. We also had to pick up some of the water that's coming off the slope, and also be able to put some of the water that's on the driveway into this ditch here. So we dug this ditch in order to capture both the water coming from the uphill, as well as we end up crowning this and putting the water from the driveway into the ditch on that side and then flowing it off to the other side. Fortunately, we didn't even have to do a culvert there because they already had one, so we were able to just ditch into it and let it go on its way. And you can see here we are turning over using our wonderful ruckus rake. We're turning over the material, and we always like to do that because it allows us to pull the existing material up and get it even, smooth. We can pull out any low parts. We can fill in any ruts, actually dig out the ruts, fill them in, dig out any potholes, fill them in, and then we can come back with some fine grading. We'll usually roll it, and then we bring in the new material, put that down, and do a finished grade on that, roll it, and then we thank them for their time. Now, you may be wondering, why are we digging a V-ditch here? And that would be a very good question. The truth of it is we actually aren't, even though we are. because we didn't have our 1 foot bucket with us, and so but we're going to underground this roof drain. And so instead of going and getting the other bucket or bringing it along, we said, hey, we'll just ditch it out with our V-dish bucket, and then we can just drop in the pipe and backfill it. What you see there is a lot of manure. I'm sure you gardeners are jealous right now. There's a lot of manure in that soil right now. It's shavings and manure, and it was fun to do that final 10 feet of laying the pipe and getting it where it needed to be. I got to stand in manure for a good little time there. Here you can see we're putting down some 2 and 3 inch, and the reason we're doing that is we want to create a crown, and we found that getting this larger rock is the way to do that. It gives us structure that we need, so that when we lay the crush on top of it, it works just like a charm. You can see we always roll it though, because let me tell you something, when you're especially on a hill like this, if you don't roll this stuff, it's going to roll under the tires of the trucks, and they're not going to be able to get up it a lot of times, and they'll get stuck, and then we got to pull them up, and this helps us avoid that, so we compact it all. Now here you can see on the inside we've got the rock, but on the outside we haven't put the rock yet. Sometimes we'll do that when we're trying to create a pitch on the inside of the road and pitching it out, so we'll create a high side on the inside and then pitch it out to the outside. You can see them sorting. You could see off in the corner, you could see them sorting, digging out the rocks out of the dirt. It was a long, tedious job. I'll tell you, I didn't envy them doing that, but fortunately, I actually helped. I did help a little, being the wonderful boss that I am, of course. But no, they did the far majority of it. Now you can see we're just laying some of that crush down. You can see this crush is a little yellow or brownish in color. It's really interesting to me how different quarries have different colors. Most of the time it doesn't matter, but you've got to be careful if you notice that the gravel that they already have down is a different color than the gravel that you may be bringing in from a different quarry. Better ask that question, or you could regret it. Some people care about the color. There's my son Joey putting the old Kubota to work. Putting some of those finishing touches on the driveway after we brought in all the crush, got everything shaped the way that it needs to be, and then we get that final touches done again with our tilt plate that allows us to tilt our bucket. Boy, that's nice. Now you may have noticed I pointed out at the beginning that there was these mounds of dirt. Well, we took those out and we expanded their parking lot, and you can see that it's a much bigger parking lot now. This part was a little tricky, you might imagine. It's getting it to the grade to lay right so that the water would run in the directions that we wanted to run was a little tricky. Some of it wanted to break to the left, some of it wanted to break to the right. So we had to figure out how to get it going in the direction we wanted. And now the compacting begins. Lots of compacting. It's amazing to me how many people don't do compacting, but it's so critical. Let me, if our compactor broke, we would pull off the job or have to go rent another one, depending on availability. Or we just wouldn't do the job if it broke beforehand, because it is not a complete job until it's rolled. We spend probably half the time that we're spending grading, we're spending rolling. So it adds a significant amount of time to the time that we spend on the job. Here we're just putting those finishing touches. All those little details matter. We can do 5,000 feet of road and get 20 feet wrong, and it won't be right. So here you go. Now you'll notice that there's a nice crown that was really not there before, crowning off into the pasture on one side, the ditch on the other side. You can see now where all those piles are gone. We've greatly expanded this area, and so there's lots more parking. The gravel that they brought was pug gravel, and the benefit of that is that it's really wet, and so it sets up and it hardens. But the downside of it is it's pretty wet for a little bit. Here you can see this back area. We didn't really show you us working on that section earlier, but you can see the end results. It looks much better. We brought in some screenings. We brought in, and we got those ruts fixed, and we got the roof drain buried under so that it's not rutting out that area anymore. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope this was a blessing to you. Have a great day.